What is up, everyone? I am your host, Nick, and we are back with Superfriends. This is episode 51. We are really close, actually, to this epic crossover that we've been teasing, like, forever.
The crossover that we've seen happen a few times on Marvelite.
The Crisis on Infinite Lukes.
It's already been ruined multiple times through different...
The difference is
everything.
we'll have everyone from the different
I think
podcasts.
everyone on this
Yeah.
podcast
The
has been
difference
on Marvelite at some point.
We actually all have.
I'm like a regular on
Yeah.
Marvelite, actually.
You are.
I think
You've been in every
Will's-
episode for the last 20, just about.
Yeah, since, like, episode 15, I've been on every one or something.
Will has been on here once, and Luke was on here once. That's it.
Yeah, Will was on, like, episode, like, 8 or something, though. It was, like, a long time ago. Like, before BVS came out, I think he was on it. Like,
Was he?
yeah, because we were talking about when the Dark Side images came out, like the Nightmare thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
He was on that one. But yeah,
It's
I don't
really
know
long time
how.
ago.
Just before we get started, how are you guys doing tonight? Because I know this is kind of late.
Let me tell you, Nick, I am doing fantastic. Never better. Happy to be here. Always
Yay.
wanted to show up. Thanks for the opportunity. Long time listener, first time podcaster.
Good.
Yeah. I'm doing great too, and I'll tell you guys in a little bit why.
Sure.
But,
Go ahead. Do you have Taco Bell?
Luke. No.
I would be doing great, but the heat index has increased dramatically here, and because whenever we record these, I stay in a room and I try not to have any of the fans on, so I am literally sweating my balls off right now.
Hashtag pray for Lurker 2016.
Pray for me.
Yeah.
Pray for me.
Tim, what are you up to?
I'm tired. I have to get up in a few hours, and I move around a lot at work. So
Start.
Yeah, before
Tim.
we started, Tim was just like, start.
Start. On the bright side, we all respect and admire your dedication.
I feel like Tim has done that a few times
to
before.
peek
We
behind the
just would
curtain,
not
there's
start.
about an hour of foreplay before we actually hit record.
Hey, we need to be warmed up for this. Tim, we can't just do this. We
Go
can't just
in
go,
dry.
all right?
Yeah, let's
Hard
not have.
and dry.
Let's not have this.
Why is it
let's not
always
have
about
this
you, Tim?
warm-up intro.
Why isn't it always about us and our orgasm or podcast? I don't know.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that took a turn. I'm not sure about.
Yeah, but I mean, as always, we got some news that we're going to talk about. We got some TV news, some movie news, some comic news, and then we got some viewer questions. And then, well, we're doing what we are doing right now, which is some lively conversation before we get into
Banter.
recording all
Banter.
that. But yeah, if you want to get right into this, I guess we're all
See-
tired and everything. But yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
Is that enough banter?
I don't
I
know.
guess
Last
so.
week we were talking. What was it, like 12 minutes last week or something? But
Yeah,
it's
we
like
had a
15
really
or
too
somewhere.
long, truthfully.
But to be fair, I feel like that was one of our better episodes. Not a lot of people agreed, apparently, but I like to think
Yeah,
that
there
was
were-
a good episode.
Man, wow, why are people so mean in the comments? They're like, the biasness is strong. I don't even know what that
Well,
means.
I mean,
They're such meanies.
I think it's just people. I feel like it's just gotten to like the point where people just can't accept, opinions, man. I mean,
Maybe it's not maybe that, but I mean also it's like I just don't understand what the point is.
well,
Like
I think there's just a
we
lot
talk about like we talk about like the shows and stuff. We're excited for like the shows and everything.
Yeah.
Comics we really like. If you just want to hear someone talk good about the movies, just skip to the part where we're not talking about the movies.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, well, I think the issue is like people will label you a DC hater for not loving the movies. Like I don't hate everything DC does. I don't. Like I love their comics. My favorite comic book character is a DC Comics character. I watch a lot of their TV shows. I was about to say
Wait, who?
all.
Nightwing?
Nightwing, yeah. I was about to say all, and then I remembered that all. I was about to say I watched all their TV shows, and then I remembered that Arrow and Gotham are two of their TV shows, and I was like, okay, I'll settle for like 4 out of 6. But it's just I think there's this common thought process out there that if you don't like DC movies and you don't agree with the way it's being handled, then you must hate DC. People are collating that, and it's like, no, we love DC. That's why we're here People ask all the time, why do you have a why do you have a DC podcast if you hate DC? It's like, we don't hate DC. The fact that you have to ask that question, I would say, look at it. We have a DC Comics podcast because we love DC. Just because we don't like the movies doesn't change that. You know, it's...
Yeah,
Like,
plus,
it's just,
we only
it's just
review DC Comics too right now. Anyway,
we
so.
basically
like,
only ever hilariously.
yeah. So I mean, like, just I don't know. It's just like it's a really weird claim to just be like, y'all even don't try to hide the fact that y'all hate DC and like freaking. I'm not just talking about the movies. Like, we only ever talk shit about the movies. Like, I guess Arrow maybe, but I mean, like, everything else generally is given good discussion, whatnot. So I don't know. It's just a weird claim.
If we are hiding it, then I think we're doing it particularly well.
Yeah, like, we're doing a pretty damn good job, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, I mean, pretty clear that we don't like the movies, but everything else we're fine with.
I don't get it, man. I mean, I can only hope that, like, in time, people will... If there are two ways out of this, like, number one, DC makes movies that we like, and people just kind of forget, and there's a happy medium. Or number two, people just kind of slowly accept, you know, that maybe we like other things about DC. I don't think either of those is likely to happen. So.
Yeah, there's different stages of, you know, this DC films. You know, to go through anger, depression, bargaining,
or it's
acceptance
denial,
is the final
anger,
one.
Bargaining. Ooh, denial, anger,
and then
bargaining, depression, acceptance.
And then the final step is Zack Snyder goes full Marvel.
Yeah, meme core.
He already went full Marvel.
He's going full Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
That sounds like a weird sex act. Going full Marvel.
The
Full Marvel.
Dude, we're gonna
That
get
sounds-
so many.
When you
we're
make
gonna get
jokes,
so many,
like every thrust, it's like you make a different quip.
Make a quip.
Every...
Add some scenes to the next sex act you're about to do.
You can only thrust
and
if you
pay
respond
Robert
with a quip.
And you pay Robert Downey Jr. $75 million to be involved per session. Yep.
Good idea.
There you go. That's going full Marvel.
Can't go wrong.
this is gonna lead to a string of comments again in this section.
God, the bias.
He's gonna say,
Like, I
when are
mean,
you gonna-
honestly,
You guys
then he
spent
just
4
didn't
minutes
listen
talking
to the
about
first
Marvel.
part. In which case, who cares?
No, we're gonna have that one guy say, "Why are you guys so pessimistic about everything DC in all caps?"
I've got
Not
to say,
just
I
talking
think
about the
best
movies.
thing, and I will say this to people, and this is a bad business decision. If people really don't like us and they really think we're pessimistic and think we're biased, just stop watching. I mean, I'm pretty sure if everybody that thought that quit watching, we would be getting way less views. If everyone that really hated us, because clearly it's a lot.
Yeah, there's people that hate us, like that AAV guy, whatever.
He is our mortal enemy.
Our mortal enemy.
AAV Club, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is, and here's my message to AAV Club. Dude, we don't like DC, and Tim's over here going, start.
Go.
It's not worth it. Cutting your losses.
You've been a long time viewer. No, I'm serious,
out.
man. I mean, he's been a long time viewer, and I honestly have interacted with him in the comments section before, and I would say, like, don't let how you feel about how we feel about the DCEU affect your opinion of us. I mean, if it really is that important and that really affects your opinion, then fine. You know, I'd suggest you stop watching. But I honestly don't know what happened. I think people just get too wrapped up in what people think about movies. It's dangerous. It's toxic. People just care way too much about what other people think. If you like a movie, you like a movie. You know?
Yeah, opinions are cool.
At the end of the day, it's literally cape shit. So I mean,
it is cape shit.
I'm so sick. I hate superhero movies anyway.
Yeah.
Are you of the Mel Gibson school of thought?
Which is another video I'll link in the description. I hate superhero movies. You go check that out. You'll see the light.
It's actually a pretty good video.
It's interesting.
The title.
I mean, I love superhero movies, and I found it to be intriguing. But we have a lot of news to get to today.
That's true.
No, we don't. What are you talking about?
We have a decent amount of news to get to today.
Start.
No, Tim will come on and say, "Are we doing this or what?"
Hashtag start.
All right, so if we want to just kind of jump into the news, then so first up, actually the only movie topic that we have is that this came out yesterday. As of this recording, Aquaman is going to be filming in Australia, in Queensland. They're starting pre-production late this year, before Christmas, reportedly, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It looks like a lot of people are filming in Australia now, like superhero movies. So
yeah,
definitely interesting.
The underpublicized aspect of this story is Amber Heard's triumphant return to Australia. If anybody remembers how well that went the last time,
she used to smuggle her dogs back in,
and had to make a super stilted apology video for the Australian Tourism Board to jack off to.
Hopefully, she will not have to make one for Aquaman to the Australian Tourism Board.
I am so sorry. We are so sorry for destroying thousands of miles of coral in the Barrier Reef. But the shots were really good.
Did you see his pecs?
Yeah, and his holding.
They were
his
amazing.
Breath. No, it's cool. I think Australia has some of the most beautiful coastline and the most beautiful, underwater area,
women,
ocean, and women. Oh yes, and women as well, and things that'll kill you. A huge amount of that too.
Yeah, well, that is Monster Island. That's the Danger Island.
I'd be really interested to see what they're filming there for. Like, are they filming there?
I think the story said that they're going to be on sound stages in the Village Roadshow studios, because they have the biggest water filming tank apparently there.
See, there's a good reason for it. There is a good, so maybe not so much for the scenery in Australia. Maybe just for the women then, for Jason Momoa.
There's a big tax rebate too, because when the Justice League Mortal was going to be filming, they were actually going to shoot in Australia too, in Queensland, and that never got off the ground. But they were supposed to. Another reason that contributed to that is because they were supposed to get like a 35% tax rebate, but there was some kind of
really good
stuff happening. But I mean, a lot of people are going there for their movies. But yeah, I don't know, Tim. What are your thoughts on Aquaman?
I mean, I don't know how much this is going to affect the movie beyond just the filming location. I don't know if it's going to be set in Australia or if they're just going to use like the locations around it and mask it as something else. But we'll see what happens when it comes out.
I think James Wan is Australian too, from what I've heard of his accent. I'm pretty sure he is.
Could be. There's a pretty high percentage of Pacific Islander and Asian immigrants to any. Yeah,
Lurker. What are your thoughts, Lurker? Are you going to be in the movie? Are you going to be in the trench?
I'll be behind the trenches lurking, but there's a lot of dangerous creatures, so I feel like this fits perfectly. You got like freaking otters with human faces in Australia. They'll kill you. And
there's
grab
a
you
spider
into the
the
swamp.
size of your shoe in there.
Yeah, so I mean, like a lot of terrifying, horrible creatures in Australia. So perfect. For
That's why
Aquaman.
Mel Gibson in The Road Warrior was in there. That's that Australia is some kind of nuclear wasteland.
No, I mean like it's a land forgotten by time and people, except for Hollywood. Because
I hope we get a shot of Aquaman fighting a koala.
The most deadly of creatures. Did you know that a koala can lift 100 pounds over its head?
Dude, a koala screaming. That's terrifying.
That's
That's
terrifying.
an artist rendition there. That is Luke's cover of a koala screaming.
No, I mean, good.
Did you guys hear about the safari little hunter people that were attacked and killed by a whole swarm of koala bears?
I don't. What? Was that the National Enquirer?
This is in fact a scoop coming at you right now. Koalas do a terrifying tornado attack where they attack the victim and spin their claws around on their fingers, slicing their necks open. It's true. Wow. Look it up.
It's like Sharknado. They need to make a Koala-nado.
Luke dropping scoops.
Yeah, they're terrible creatures. They should all be exterminated, quite frankly.
He's the MC. You know why?
Yeah.
Nick, do you know why? Nick is not responding, which means he just... Because where I come from, MC means move the crowd.
No!
And Luke is moving the crowd right away from this podcast.
It was dead.
I had to bring it back. I'm only going to speak in
Fair
like,
enough.
vats. I'm only going to
So,
say that.
yeah,
across
before we
every
move
episode.
on, just shoot a koala on site. Help your neighbor.
We're gonna get a string of comments from angry Australians saying, "You guys are all wrong. They're not. This is not the danger island. It is."
You're wrong about all of that. You were right about the koalas, but everything else you're terrible.
We don't
Get a
have
bunch
the
of
largest filming
calling
tank.
us-
That is a complete
We'll just get
lie.
a lot of comments calling us fucking cunts.
Show me a source,
Hey,
anyone.
fucking cunts. Mr. Sunday will come at
I don't
us
wanna go to-
like
I
an
don't wanna go
angry
to work.
koala tornadoing.
It's the next fucking
Dude,
topic.
that kind of devolved quickly.
I like the Australians.
The
They're
Super
cool.
Friends roast of Australia.
We love you, Australia.
They're pretty cool.
Honestly, I do.
Have
love
you guys
Australia.
noticed how in
changed.
every horror movie, when shit hits the fan, there's some Australian guys that come out of nowhere, like, "Hey, we're the nuts. We're the other guys.
So we're the-
We're the other guys in
No.
this movie. Hello, we're the other guys in this movie. I'll get you out of here."
No.
You know what they say about the crazy
That
That
ones?
was my favorite part of Jason Takes Manhattan.
They come in and say, "You want to get out of here? You talk to me."
Oh, I never saw.
You know what
dude,
they
I
say?
never saw that one.
You call that a knife? This is a knife.
That's a knife.
Knife
I
party.
opted for an
Yeah.
Overwatch
So-
reference instead of.
So
the
you
actual
know
movie.
what else is rumored out there? Some new animated movies, actually.
Yo,
D-
tell us about these animated movies.
So
Nick.
apparently at Fan Expo Canada, which Michael was at, but apparently he didn't give us these scoops.
I
I don't
know.
know what's.
I got these scoops
He,
from Caboose, actually. That's the first time I heard about this.
Oh wow! So
No lie.
so Fan Expo Canada just wrapped up this past weekend, and apparently at a panel there, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy were kind of talking about DC animated stuff, and they talked about The Killing Joke, and people have mixed feelings about that, but they talked about some new DC animated movies that, well, they kind of teased them. They didn't really say like, oh, these are happening, but apparently they teased Batman Hush and the Death in the Family, the old one from the 80s. Being animated movies. So, like, what would you like to do with these movies? So it's kind of interesting. Certainly Hush is one of those movies that people wanted to see for a while. So
yeah,
It's really, really interesting because I feel like Hush could maybe more easily be worked into kind of their main animated universe.
Probably.
Death in the Family, it could be, I guess. It could technically be, but I don't think so, like, at this point, because they've done the whole kind of, I think it was, what was it, Batman Bad Blood, where they had the whole of the Bat family in there. And so they've already got Red Hood. So it kind of
Red Hood wasn't in
Red Hood
Bad
in that?
Blood.
I think so. What? There was one. Well, whatever. So they technically could do that, I guess. But they've
Yeah,
already
has
done
he?
Under
I
the
don't
Red
think
Hood.
Red Hood's
so
been in anything yet.
I don't know.
Like, he had that movie. I don't think he's been in their little
Yeah,
animated.
he hasn't
film
been in
universe
it
So
thing.
yet.
they really technically, they could do both. Well, then I defer to Tim. So they could do both. We'll see if they do. I could see Death in the Family probably being more of like an Elseworld story, kind of like how they did Killing Joke, but better, hopefully.
Yeah.
There's
I
would say there's more
like-
naturally for them to expand. Like, they don't have to just inject this fake.
And now we get an opening
Or
scene of
Batgirl
Jason
backstory.
Todd and Batman having sex.
just pegging. No, but you could do you could do like the whole thing where Jason Todd is like looking for his mom. That's more natural to expand because it was already in the story. But
Yeah.
It's true. I don't know. I kind of, there's like two sides to this. On one side, I kind of like that this could just be they're just adapting stories and not really trying to contribute to that animated film universe thing, because I really didn't care about that. But
Judas contract.
I don't know.
Though.
I guess it could. Shut up. I don't want to. But I mean, like, they could if they wanted to. But it just seems like there's, like, in terms of Batman stuff, they're just trying to do all of the stories, I guess, because Killing Joke came out this year, and they're going to be doing Hush and Death in the Family. On the other side of this, I only like the prospect of one of these movies, but I already feel like this was kind of done very well and Under the Red Hood, so we don't really need it again. And the other one, I don't really like Hush, so I don't care, but, you know.
yeah, the problem with doing Batman Hush is that for anyone that's read the story, there's like no mystery at all. You're just watching it being made
Unfold.
animated.
Like, I didn't you say like someone explained it to you like it was like Batman in denial for the entirety of the book, and like I guess that's a nice way to do it, but I don't know, like just the whole thing with all the villains popping up, like, and then I don't know, there's something about the Hush storyline that I really don't like, because there's not really build up. It's just something happens and then they move on to the next thing, and then something else happens, they move on to the next thing, and then they get to the end, it's like, it's been that guy all along, when he barely had any behind the scenes stuff happening in the book. So
I mean,
I don't know.
To me, I would say that I get where you're coming from, Nick, with it's like, yeah, you just, it's just kind of being animated. And I agree, I think maybe the better option for Hush is like a live action adaptation, because there's something magical about it being brought to the big screen. But, I mean, I think fans will kind of overlook that, because you could say that about a lot of these animated movies, because most of the time it is just something being adapted for the big screen. I mean, recently DC's kind of done their own thing and kind of bastardized other stories into, a new story, kind of. But, I mean, Under the Red Hood is personally one of my favorites, and Flashpoint Paradox, and that was essentially just, I mean, they tweaked some things here and there, but that was essentially like the same thing. It's kind of like being just seeing those comics adapted to the animated universe.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd like to see it, but
yeah, I think that if a more interesting version of this would be if they had actually adapted the Batman Heart of Hush storyline, which is by Paul Dini with Dustin Nguyen art, which is one that a lot of people actually haven't read. So.
Yeah, like it's a thing. Like, if these do well, fine. I guess that brings us one step closer to them adapting Nightfall into an animated movie, which I would really like, but I don't know. We'll see.
The thing is, I want No Man's Land adapted, but that would honestly kind of be taken up. Like, the parts I like about it would be taken out because they have to cut it down to like an hour and a half. So, like, if they did like a series of No Man's Land, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a 2-parter, I guess, like they did Dark Knight Returns, honestly.
No, a 3-parter.
That's true. It's a very big thing, so I guess they would do that. I can only see 2 parts, honestly, but like they could give it the same treatment.
Yeah, 2 parts probably be max if they did
I've seen a lot of people.
Right.
I saw a lot of people saying that the whole Death of the Family thing was done in Under the Red Hood, but I think the version they did Under the Red Hood was like really different than the original Death of the Family. Like, there's a lot of stuff that was in that other storyline that you could do with like Superman and all that, but.
Like, I guess so, but it's like the main... my thing is, like, the main crux of it's, like, been told very well in Under the Red Hood, and it's like, I don't... The Superman stuff, fine, sure, but that could easily just be, like, an animated short, I feel.
Yeah, if they did Batman Hush, then I would actually like to see them do an original version of the story. Just have Hush as the main character. But...
There's not, you know what? Hush is the one that I think that I would be perfectly fine if they change some stuff up, as long as it's not Bruce Timm adding a prologue to Hush and having relations with Bruce on a rooftop.
What, Tommy Elliott and Bruce, or?
Yeah, those two. They were lovers as children. That's the tale.
I want to see Tommy Elliott get explored more in this Hush storyline if they have to do it.
He's gonna get explored by Bruce, if you know what I mean.
He's gonna get explored as hard as he can.
Yeah.
I would. I would like that too, though, because you just never get an idea, I feel, of who Tommy is in the actual book. It's just
yeah, you do. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? You just be like,
how long ago have you read this?
I read it a while ago. Just be like, oh, it's my best friend, and he's a surgeon, and I haven't seen him in forever. It's like, all right, cool.
No, his dad's best friend was the surgeon. They couldn't save his mom.
He became a surgeon, though, didn't he?
Who, Tommy?
Yeah.
Did he? I don't remember.
Yeah, like he becomes a surgeon. Pretty sure that's why he's able to reconstruct his face. That's why he's able to take Catwoman's heart out of her chest.
Dun dun. Oh well.
Oh, whatever. Just do some original story with Hush. Just do something.
I want Hush, but not Hush.
Yeah, just do something. I don't know, whatever.
Can I get a Hush and hold the Hush?
No.
No. Nick puts
So
his
moving
foot
on,
down.
for comic news, actually, surprisingly, we have some DC Rebirth news. There's some pretty big announcements being made here, but basically, the Justice League and Suicide Squad are going to go head-to-head in a new crossover event, which is going to be weekly, surprisingly. Ooh. It's going to take place in December and go into January, and it's going to lead into a bunch of spin-off titles, which are going to be hitting in February and beyond, I think, like Justice League of America. Something, I think they said something about like a Harley Quinn thing. I don't, whatever. I mean, she has like a million titles anyway, but Jason Fabok on the art, Joshua Williamson writing it, who's obviously the writer of The Flash right now. So, yeah, what do you guys think about this?
I love
definitely.
It.
Definitely banking off the movie hype and all that. But
yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Luke.
I'm very confused by the premise. I did not know that the Justice League didn't know the Suicide Squad existed. I just thought they always knew. Like,
I don't think they've ever crossed paths in the New 52 at all. Actually.
Not in the New 52. I was gonna say I love it for a couple of reasons. One, because it's a great throwback to the original Ostrander Suicide Squad run. And two, because it kind of does cross over with the movie, but it does cross over, I think, pretty organically. With, I guess you've got a chance in Rebirth to say that they didn't know that the Suicide Squad was a real thing and they've never crossed paths. But also it kind of is, maybe a little foreshadowing for maybe something to come in the DCEU. Maybe, potentially. Not that I'd really love to see it, but maybe.
Oh, I know.
It's ruined now because Batman does know they exist.
He does, now. But, it ties in because of the whole, we'll shut it down for you. Shut it down
My
or I'll
friends.
do it.
Right.
Putting the foot down.
Right. Tim, what are your thoughts on this crossover?
I'll look into it to see what it's like. I haven't followed up either Suicide Squad or Justice League since they started with Rebirth, so I'll see what happens with it. The matchup seems kind of one-sided, but we'll see how it goes.
It's basically it's going to be the 6-issue weekly book, and then they're obviously going to tie into the main Justice League and Squad books too. I think like 2 issues out of each one. So, I guess we're going to have to catch up with that and read all that.
I guess so.
But we're going to have someone review that
Probably
when the time comes.
Probably.
Anyone?
Have Rob do it.
I'd be interested to see if they try and do little Easter eggs to the original, the first time they faced off. But we'll see.
Yeah, it seems like Batman and Harley are the main stars in it. They're on the promo art for it.
Yeah, they probably will be. They're DC.
They are the main stars of DC.
Pretty much.
Is Batman wearing Deadshot's goggle, by the way?
Yeah, I think he is. He has like a little goggle eyepiece thing.
He has taken up the mantle of Deadshot, and he will continue his legacy.
Look at that picture. He has Deadshot's eyepiece, and he has Katana's sword.
He's continuing their legacy.
So he is the Suicide Squad now. Just
yes,
him.
He is all of them.
Oh wow, he morphed into them or something, like a Megazord.
He morphed into. He just put on their shit.
He's a Battleborg.
Yeah, he's a big bad Beetleborg.
Yeah, he did. But I hope that this does lead into some. I hope that it leads into good stuff for the Rebirths, because thus far it's been all good mostly for the comics. So hopefully this doesn't detract and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They said that it's going to be the first of a quarterly event series. So just hopefully they don't get too overboard on these crossover stuff, because Batman Night of the Monster Men is starting up soon, and that's going to be an only Batman title crossover. That's not like anything else. So,
yeah, it's a little bit disappointing for people who were maybe naively hoping that Rebirth was going to be the end of event proliferation. But I'm not surprised as long as they as long as they're good and as long as they make sense. I think that's my biggest thing. But can I read you real quick this paragraph from the Wikipedia synopsis for the original Justice League versus Suicide Squad?
Sure.
From 1988, the original John Ostrander Suicide Squad run, number 13, for those of you interested. Suicide Squad number 13. Here's how the battle shakes out. Blue Beetle confronts the powerful Duchess, using his incredible agility to dodge her powerful blows. Deadshot first intends to take a shot at Batman, but the Dark Knight quickly intimidates him, and the two part ways. The Martian Manhunter and Vixen, old friends and teammates from the Detroit Justice League of America, talk out their differences. Captain Boomerang becomes furious at Guy Gardner, who refuses to fight, preferring to sit in an impenetrable green bubble. Captain Atom and Nightshade, who work together for the U.S. government with the public cover that they are dating, pretend to fight but are actually engaging in frolicsome play. Flag attempts to talk out the situation with Batman, who slugs him, igniting a vicious brawl. Meanwhile, Mr. Miracle evades Deadshot's uncanny aim, and Bronze Tiger and Black Canary trade martial arts blows. I think they could just have that for 6 issues.
Yeah, it seems pretty climactic.
It was. I just love Guy Gardner refuses to fight, preferring to sit in an... It's just, it's so kitschy. Comics don't have that nowadays.
I hope for some katana acts
they're all
of
actually
play.
trash.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. I like that description. Anything can pop into your mind, really.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so in terms of the whole event stuff, going back to that, I think that they announced that there were going to be other artists on it too, because I think Fabok is only drawing the first issue of it, because it's a weekly, so obviously he can't, draw, what would that be, 120 pages of comics? Yeah, no. But
yeah, no.
So they're gonna have other artists in there. I think I think I might have seen Tony Daniel's name thrown in there. Some other people, obviously, but
okay.
Hopefully it works out. Like I said, I also like that they're keeping the price point still to $2.99. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Allows me to buy more comics, more DC Rebirths.
Bye.
But if we want to move on to our next segment here, which is TV time, we're gonna talk about some new DC TV stuff going on.
Yeah.
So first up on the list we have Legends of Tomorrow, first TV spot for season 2. It shows off Stargirl and also the Reverse Flash, played by Matt Lester, whatever. So pretty cool stuff there. Stargirl looks like the classic suit. I don't remember what she looked like in Smallville. So
she looked like how she did basically in the old universe in Smallville, just like the eye holes were smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, they stayed pretty accurate on Smallville. It looks like they're staying pretty accurate here too.
Yeah, her costume looks like a clothy or something.
Yeah, from the freeze frame that I saw of it, it kind of looks like Captain America's costume from the beginning of First Avenger.
Yeah, it kind of actually makes sense when you think about it, because the JSA are supposed to take place in the World War II era episodes or something. So
right.
Pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah, very patriotic outfits.
Yeah. Well, are you guys gonna watch Legends season 2 or?
I mean, I guess I have to if the JSA are gonna be in it. I can't really resist.
You can watch those.
Seems like a lot of stuff is gonna happen in it.
That's true.
So
I can
I'll probably check it out.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. I'll watch the first episode, and if it hooks me back in, I'll be really interested to see how they do kind of the transition from the first season. I'll probably be watching it.
I really hope that the Legion of Doom, which are pretty much the main villains this season, I hope that their hideout is in Darth Vader's helmet, like the cartoon.
The Darth Vader Stewie head.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I would like that. I'm not sure how they can fit that in, but
meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom headquarters.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Their head.
Yeah, their head.
Just freeze frame on that.
Oh God.
All right, if we want to move on to the next show here, we got actually Krypton news. Krypton is still happening, guys. Yeah. they cast Lyta Zod, who's going to be the female lead in the show. So,
and I like to, as Tim said before we recorded, who the fuck is Lyta Zod?
I'd like for Tim. I'm not going to comment on this. I would like for Tim just to explain his righteous fury.
I mean, I'm not angry at it. It's just that all the headlines are trying to promote as if she was cast as some big name DC character, but all the characters on the show are basically OCs.
True.
Essentially.
So I don't know why everyone's it's cool that she's casted on the show. I'm sure she'll do a good job, but I don't know why everyone's treating the role like it's so important.
But it is a big
in
role.
The show. It's a big
we
role.
have
in the grand
found
scheme
our
of,
Lyta Zod.
Exciting people about a role. It's really not a huge role.
Oh, this is the first DCEU TV show. It's connected.
It's connected by like a few generations because he's hanging out with his grandpa.
It's connected by a thin thread.
Remember the other TV show that said it was all connected and lied?
What was that?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
Ain't no
Agents
connection.
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Yeah.
Asian Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Remember when Daredevil said it was all connected and it's not canon?
Sad.
God damn it. Stop it.
Stop it. You're ruining this.
Sad.
Alright, in actual good news, though, got pretty cool news that came out of nowhere, basically. Apparently Black Lightning has a TV show in the works from Greg Berlanti and co.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, does this mean Static is dead?
So here's the thing. I don't think it's dead. I just don't think he'll be getting his own series. If he shows up, this could be an interesting way to kind of like backdoor introduce him. Kind of like how the Flash is now introducing every motherfucking speedster that DC Comics has ever made by the end of season 3. This could be a way to do it.
Yeah.
Static believers have faith.
Well, Static was going to be a web series, so we don't even know what platform that was going to be on or how it was going to be presented or anything. Yeah. So.
CW
So
Seed.
is Black Lightning on the Seed then?
No.
It's being
CW.
shot to networks right now. So
any network, yeah. So NBC.
And it's an animated thing, or is
no,
it a
it's live
action
action.
thing? Oh, really?
So it's a collaboration. It's Greg Berlanti, who of course is the guy behind Supergirl and The Flash, and is now pretty much now the czar of the CW/DC universe. And he's teaming up with Mara Brock Akil and Salim Akil, who I can't remember. The name of the show they've done is escaping me. But they're gonna team up, and they've kind of released like a little synopsis about how he's gonna be like an older, retired superhero who has to come back. He's kind of forced by certain events in his life to return to being a vigilante, but he is wanted by the police.
You think his daughters are gonna be in it?
Yeah. He said one daughter is kind of like a passion for justice, and then the other daughter is like falling in with the wrong crowd. So it's like, damn.
Okay. But yeah, that does seem pretty cool, actually. I didn't know it was live action. I thought it was going to be animated.
I was assuming it was going to be ending up on the CW already, and that's still, I think, if you're a betting person and you want to put money on this sort of thing, why you would do that, I don't know. I think, C-1, good odds to be the final resting spot for Black Lightning, where they could fill out their Monday to Friday slate.
Yeah. But Does Black Lightning have his own city? I don't remember. If he doesn't, they could easily just, if they want to make Static just a reference, they could have it take place in Dakota.
I was gonna say, people are gonna shout at me for being racist and saying Detroit, but I think he was a member of the Detroit Justice League.
Why would they call you racist?
Because they'd be like, oh, he's black, so he's gotta live in Detroit?
They would say the biasness is strong.
I like how I typed in Detroit Justice League to Google, and the first result is showtimes for Suicide Squad.
Oh, exit out quick!
Like, you know what you could do instead?
I'm kind of surprised if they're going the older superhero route if they end up sticking with it after they shop it to networks, because based on how it was announced more recently, I'd assume it'd be like more of a reaction to Luke Cage than anything.
It absolutely is. That's kind of the original article that broke the story on it, which I think was from Deadline Hollywood. Said basically it is kind of a reaction. They see it very much as a reaction to.
Well, it is and it isn't, because it's not like
a reaction.
It'd be more so like Luke Cage if they went like with the Year Zero thing with him, or Year One, the graphic novel with him with it, instead of doing the older route.
Yeah, so, okay, I guess I am just racist. He was not a member of Justice League Detroit. He was a member of just the Justice League, but kind of the
I don't think he joined till Justice League of America, like after Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, he was brought in to fight Amazo, according to the wiki, and then kind of he just stuck around. He was also frequently with the Outsiders, but from my research, I couldn't find anything to discredit this. If my research is correct, he might actually be like the first black superhero to have been invited to join the Justice League. Because he was invited very quickly after he was debuted, I think in the mid-'70s, and the first black member to join was Jon Stewart in the mid-'80s. But he declined their offer, so...
Right, he was too good for them.
Too good.
Too OP.
So yeah, Black Lightning sounds pretty cool. Hope it ends up on the CW so they can get more
Monday to
characters
Friday
in the universe.
It would be a different dynamic, so it would be pretty cool, like an older superhero. So
apparently he lives in the south side, the suicide slums of Metropolis.
Oh, wait,
at least in year one he was.
Oh, there you go. Supergirl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they could tie that into Supergirl then, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Put that on CW. Do it.
They could do it. I would be surprised if they don't.
Suicide Slum is still my favorite location in the DC universe by name alone.
You know what? I would say so, but Crime Alley is pretty goddamn good.
How can crime beat Suicide?
Just
Come
because
on.
I have no... I'm just saying, because, like, Crime Alley, why does this place exist? Why has it not been
How do you tear down an alley?
It's in the name. Tear it all down.
You can fill it in. I don't think you can tear it down without destroying the buildings that form it.
So, wait a minute. Is Crime Alley literally just a single alley?
I guess.
No.
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
It's just one alley between the buildings that has been dubbed.
big-ass
This is where the crime happens.
That's prime real estate.
Because I thought it was like just a little part of the city, like Park Row or something. And apparently you can't tear down an alley. Well, you can't, but I would assume it's not just an alley.
Viewer question of the day. Viewer question of the day is Crime Alley just an alley?
Do we have any other news?
Can you tear it down?
No, that's it. Actually, if we want to move on to questions, that's all the news we had. Actually.
Yeah, Waru Watch.
Waru Watch. Do we have... Oh, I was going to say, do we have a question from Waru? Because I read the first three and they weren't. And then I was like, oh yeah, he's got the last two.
Yeah, so first
it.
question here we have from Pads Unwritten. He says, as Super Friends, is TV Barry actually the biggest threat to Earth 1? I would say yeah. He's like messed up a bunch of times. So.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. He changed the timeline after he realized that doing that would be not a good thing to do.
Well, they've stressed that since the very first episode of the first season, and he just was like, I guess he eventually realized, like, fuck it, like this is my TV show. I do what I want.
He tends to come to that conclusion a lot.
He does, for dramatic effect.
The only way they're gonna drill that into his head is they have Doc Brown on there and be like, you can't mess up the timeline.
You goddamn motherfucker. It's Rick and Morty. Grant.
It's impossible, Morty.
Barry ends up in the universe where All Fondlers is a popular television show, and they have telepathic spiders and the best ice cream in the universe. He's like, fuck this
What was
place.
it? Gazorp Field. That'll be a TV show.
Ants in his eyes, Johnson. That would be a great cameo for Tom Cavanaugh, like in that new
universe. I mean, like, the DCEU Flash watches Rick and Morty, apparently, in that scene in the Justice League trailer.
So, I mean, CW Flash has to step it up. He's got to karmically balance himself some way.
Show a full episode of Rick and Morty throughout the episode.
I will watch every episode live if they do that.
What's the next question?
What's the next question?
Next question is from Disciple of Fear. He says, "As Super Friends, with the track record of large cosmic threats in comic book movies, how much do you want to bet that Darkseid will be a cloud?"
Thank you, Disciple of Fear, for this great question, because two of the major cosmic threats we've seen have been clouds, like Parallax and Galactus. At first I thought he was being dramatic, and I was like, it's just Galactus, and then I remembered Parallax. And I remember that I paid to see that movie.
I forgot about Parallax also until I thought about track record.
I'm so sorry, Tim.
I guess Darkseid on Smallville also counts too,
Yeah,
but I mean,
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those things are like so far apart though that I don't know if I would consider it a track record.
Well, to be fair, how many other really big like cosmic threats have we had? Like
we've had.
So we had.
I mean,
Galactus,
are we talking DC only, or are we talking Marvel?
Let's go
Marvel
all of them. Let's go. So Fantastic Four 2, it's a cosmic threat. That is Galactus the Cloud. I think it was until Well, in Thor, do you consider that's not really a cosmic threat? Although
he was a pale, pointy-eared dick that controlled a cloud.
That fox-eared bastard. So.
I mean, I don't think that they're going to go the
Thor,
cloud route
Green Lantern,
because Marvel's already thrown in Thanos being and looking like Thanos, so they're probably not going to go back on having Darkseid be like Darkseid, at least visually.
Smallville, yes.
I would hope they would stick very Jack Kirby-esque with his design. I would hope there's not a huge, heavy redesign for him. But...
honestly, with the exception of Thanos and Ronan, I can't think of any other movie with a cosmic threat. Not Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom was he's kind of an earthbound threat, but he came back from that cosmic realm.
I guess the point is, no, I don't see them doing Darkseid as a cloud.
I hope not.
They can't do that.
If they don't do the Jack Kirby design.
Well, we saw Steppenwolf already. He's on the cloud.
Yeah, he's
That's true.
A giant hammerhead shark
with
looking
cubes.
Dude.
He's a giant Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah.
Yep.
So moving on. Next question.
Let's get out of here.
Jay Millions asks, is there any chance of DC making a television series on a streaming service similar to The Defenders and Runaways? If so, would they be standalone or tie into the DCEU?
They'd tie in as much as the Netflix shows do for Marvel.
I mean,
so not at all.
I think there's a chance. Like, let's not lie. There's a chance. I think the issue is, and there's a chance that it could even appear on Netflix. I mean, I think maybe DC themselves wouldn't want to go to Netflix because they're like, Netflix already has Marvel.
They should go to HBO.
I'd say HBO would be great. I don't know if HBO would be all that interested. I would say maybe like Amazon Prime would be pretty good because they don't have...
Well, Warner Brothers owns HBO, though.
Do they?
Well, Time Warner does.
It's a natural fit. I think there you go.
Yeah, Time Warner. So
Warner of Warner Brothers. But no. They should. I think I agree with Luke. It would probably end up quote-unquote connected, but not really crossing over.
Yeah, like The Question gets a TV show. It's really cool, but I mean, he's not really going. You're not going to see him in a movie. Yeah. In all honesty,
I would, especially if they do like the Vic Sage Question, where he's literally kind of just a guy with a mask.
Which I mean, in all fairness, good.
Yeah.
I don't really Vic Sage as a character works very well on his own in a TV format. I don't really need to see him teaming up with Batman to validate his show.
After doing that new 52 question bio, I really want to track down Jeff Johns at NYCC and ask him exactly who Question was supposed to be, because he kind of dropped that. But
he'll say know. That's a good question,
and then walk away,
and then throw his
walk away in a cloud of
Head.
smoke.
God damn! Oh, that's right. I need to get. Hold on. I'm gonna see if they have those on Amazon.
No, the Bo Dukes or the Big Hoss one or whatever.
I need to get him a Luke Duke action figure. He already has one Big Hoss.
You get him a box of cereal.
Action figure.
No, you gotta get him the car.
If we get an interview with him, I guarantee you I will get him a box of cereal. They have a Luke Duke action figure. Holy shit.
Well, why would they only have Bo Duke? That would be weird.
You're right. They are kind of a pair. You can get all three. You can get... Oh, hold on. You can get Roscoe P. Coltrane, Bo Duke, and Luke Duke for $76.
What other questions are there?
Thank you for that question, Jamie Lins. I'll say my piece really quickly. I think that the only logical answer would be that they make shows on HBO, because that's just such a... it's under the umbrella for them, and it just makes more sense, because that's kind of what they want to do, like more serious type of stuff, so... HBO seems logical there, but yeah. Anyways, moving on.
You can get an Uncle Jesse action figure.
Just get all of them.
Done.
We'll get all of. that'll be in our pitch. It's like, Jeff, we really want to interview you. I will give you the entire Dukes of Hazzard action figure set.
And then he takes it and says no and runs off.
Giggling like a schoolgirl.
He's doing the little Hans Landa.
So what's
shimmy.
the next question?
Yeah.
Start.
The next question. The next two questions are from our friend Waru Crook, and first one up here: if DC made 3 TV-14 rated cartoons on Netflix, then what should the 3 shows be about? I would. I don't know. I don't think I would want any of them. What do you guys think?
TV-14.
What does TV-14
okay,
entail?
I want a Nightwing series, but just like in the edgy Nightwing period with the disco suit, like in like right after he kind of like quit being Robin, when he was like, I don't need friends, kind of because Batman was like, I don't need friends. He was like, I'm just gonna go be my own person in Bloodhaven, and his angsty teenage phase. As for the other two, I really don't know. Static maybe, that's a good one. Huh?
TV-14.
I need a third one. Give me a Bane TV show, like Narcos.
A Bane.
Oh,
TV
Bane
show?
Hunter.
Bane Hunter, yes, CIA Bane Hunter.
Yeah,
but no, I want a
CIA.
Bane TV because I don't have any faith that a movie will ever get Bane right. So just give me a Bane.
The Luchador.
The Luchador. I mean, well, really, because that's like the saddest shit in comics. Is everybody wants to make him just like a thug. They want to make him just like a big muscular Hispanic guy and not actually as smart as he is, or do the actual Venom thing.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. I think like some of Bane's best stuff is when he's like not on Venom. Actually, when he kind of moved past that, because again, he barely he used it a good bit like in his original thing, but like after that, he was like, I don't need this, and he had the will to like quit this very addictive drug. It's really cool.
I guess I'll do mine. I'd want them to do The Outsiders, Task Force X, and I guess Batman No Man's Land, like I was mentioning before.
I want the Legion of Superheroes.
But they already had a Legion of Superhero
That
show.
would be cool. They had their chance.
They'll bring them back with a TV-14 rating.
I would pick Justice League International.
Plastic Man.
Yes.
Yeah, Plastic Man, and I guess Blue Beetle. I don't know.
Blue Beetle would be cool.
I don't even know what TV-14.
No, Dr. Fate.
Yeah, I guess that could work actually. I don't know, because like I don't really know if I would want any of these, but like I would want them, but I just don't understand the TV-14 thing. Like, what does that mean?
Kind of like like it's not going to be like PG, like animated, kind of like the old.
It's edgy.
It's a little bit edgier,
Edgy?
not quite TVMA like Fargo or Game of Thrones. It's kind of more like not quite there, but
so Dr. Fate will be in college then in this animated
essentially.
show.
Kind of like, I guess, kind of like
that's
the Flash,
definitely
because I
what we
don't
want.
think the Flash is like TV PG.
No, the Flash is TVMA.
Oh yeah.
So Waru has one more question, right?
Yeah, he said, last question here, he says, instead of Tim Drake dying in Detective Comics, what if he gets crippled and becomes Oracle? How pissed would Josh be? LOL. I don't know if they're going to do that, because actually, if you guys look, the last issue of the Detective Comics, the arc, the cover originally had Tim Drake on it, and then they took him out now.
Dun dun.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, who knows?
Dead.
We'll see.
Dead.
How pissed would Josh be on a scale of 1 to 10? I think at first he would be like a 9 or a 10, because this would be... let me explain to you how Josh thinks. Josh is convinced that in the history of man, never has there been a greater series of injustices than what DC has done to him. And it's because DC has failed to push Tim Drake, and now nobody really appreciates him. And
Gee,
that's
I
all
wonder
their fault.
why.
Yeah, because
I wonder why they don't push him.
But so there you go. Like people don't appreciate him. Josh hates this. So at first, Josh would hate this idea. He would be at like an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I guarantee you, in 6 months, and if Tim Drake gets his own Oracle series with a good writer, Josh would be back up talking about how Tim Drake is the greatest Robin ever, and this proves it because he's great without being in the costume. There you go. Even though I would be like, Dick Grayson's doing that, but
I kind of do wish this happens, because that means Stephanie Brown could maybe become Red Robin to kind of honor Tim, and that would be cool just to see her as a Robin again.
Somewhere Josh is like rolling over in his grave.
In his grave?
Does he not like Stephanie
when
Brown?
When did you kill Josh?
No, Josh.
Where is he, CJ?
Me and Josh will not be in the same place at the same time at NYCC. It'll just pop out and then pop back.
Yeah, it'll just be you.
But no, Josh is he's like, his spidey sense is tingling. Like he's sitting in bed somewhere going, it's like, something's wrong.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of Facebook messages right now. He says I'm fired.
Uh-oh. R.I.P. Lucal.
Yeah. That's the show.
Just cut it there.
Thanks for coming. Go away.
Yeah, that's the show, guys. That was episode 51. Again, leave questions for next week.
Next week.
Follow us at...
Well, wait, we won't be next
We're going into a hiatus.
Right. So leave questions for next month.
Next week, actually.
Josh has actually just pulled the plug on this entire thing. Yes.
Yeah, we're done.
No.
Dunsky, guys.
I'm going to do this outro real quick.
Yeah.
Will Luke survive Josh's rage? How pissed off is Josh? And will the Super Friends ever return? Find out in 3 weeks. When they do return.
4 weeks.
No, 4 weeks.
Find out on the next episode of Super Friends.
Fuck, find out in 4 weeks.
And also follow our adventures at New York Comic Con this year.
Oh yes, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. I'm going to be giving Jeff Johns a Luke Duke action figure. We'll have that moment on camera.
Yeah, we're going to do a New York fan meetup for all our fans in New York.
If you're going to be at New York Comic Con, I know some people are. If you're going to be at New York Comic Con, we're going to be wearing Hybrid Network t-shirts.
No, I mean, we're going to do something outside the con so people can actually meet us.
It'll be like all 6 of us and 2 other people like in a hostel drinking Kool-Aid.
No, not in our room, dude. At like a restaurant or something.
Don't show people your room.
Good.
Jesus.
I've got reservations at Dorsia.
AAV Club's gonna come up. They're like, I'm a Super Friends hater.
You sons of bitches.
No, Corey Lucas.
Yeah, he's gonna come with him. He's gonna be his tag team
Corey
partner.
Lucas, Jay Kelly, AAV, and who's that?
He's gonna rip his shirt off, and bias is gonna be written across his chest in green paint.
No, biasness.
Biasness on his forehead.
He's gonna be.
No, it's gonna say damaged.
You're like, I'm a hybrid network detractor.
So,
oh boy.
So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Later.